It is good to be back. How have you guys been? I hope you guys have had a good break, good Easter. I certainly did. I may have eaten way too much chocolate, but that just means I'm feeling really good and I'm ready to get back into it. So let's do this. We are going to be talking about night photography on the Canon EOS M50. I know so far this channel has just been about doing the video side of this camera, but if you are watching this, you're probably thinking about buying this camera or you've already got it. Even if you're leaning more towards the video side like I am, or you're leaning more towards the photography side, or if you're just dead in the middle. That is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. Another is I just wanted to make it. I do like photography, even though I am more heavy on the video side. I do like dabbling in photography. It's a really cool art. It's a completely different game. And I really wanted to see what this camera could do. So one of my first speculations with this camera is that even though it has the brand new Digigate processor that's now also in the EOS R and the EOS RP and now the newly announced SL3, because of that, the new RAW format for photos is the Canon RAW 3 or the .cr3 file. Previously we've had the .cr2 file. Now that we have these new .cr3 files, Canon are claiming that these files are now 30 to 40% smaller than the previous CR2 files. As good as that is, yes, you save card space. Yes, that means you can take more photos on the card. Yes, you save more space on your computer. But what that tells me, being the skeptic that I am, being a smaller file size, meaning that there's less data to work with, which means there's less quality. But Canon are claiming that the trade-off for this is minimal, if not no loss in quality. So what I have to say to that is, let me be the judge of that. So this is why I wanted to make this a night photography shoot. I want to see what this camera could do in really bad conditions where there's really either harsh lighting or not much lighting, what the shadows and the blacks would look like, how much I could push out of the file, but also how much I could push out of just this camera. Also why I wanted to shoot at night, because any camera performs really well when the lighting is perfect. Whether you're in a studio or you're shooting sunrise or golden hour sunset, or it's overcast and you've got perfect diffuse light, whatever it is, any camera would absolutely just thrive in that environment. But it's under the harsh conditions where you've really got to draw as much as you can out of the camera, is where you really see what a camera is capable of. So that's why I wanted to shoot at night. So I got a couple of our friends along, shoot some portraits. I just wanted to see what detail and sharpness I could get out of the camera in these kind of conditions. So before we get into all that, I want to talk about the lenses that I used. I used only two lenses, they're both primes. The first lens you might have seen in my last video, it's my favorite lens at the moment. It is the EFM 22mm f2. And then my next lens is the Nifty 50, 50mm f1.8. The reason why I chose these two lenses is that I'd say it's safe to assume that if you're using this camera for photography, or even video as well, you probably have at least one of these two lenses, if not both. They're both very affordable, they're both spec'd really well to be able to shoot at f2 or f1.8. You're getting as much light in as you can, and also getting really good depth of field. So that's why I chose these two lenses. So just quick disclaimer, this is not a low light test. I'm not going to be pushing the ISO to ridiculous amounts or anything like that. I'm just trying to see what this camera can do in the conditions that I have and try to get the best out of it. So we were just roaming around the city looking for best light sources as we can, whether it's street signs or lights coming out of a store or just any light anywhere, really. So first of all, I was using the Nifty 50 with my friend Hannah here. We just had it standing by the storefront. I tried to keep my ISO below 1600 and I had it wide open at 1.8 the whole time. To be honest, I was really impressed. Again, when you're losing 30 to 40% of file size, I think you're kind of losing 30 to 40% of malleability or just quality. That's what I was expecting to see, but no, not at all. And then I got out the 22mm lens, we got Ellie to jump in, and with this lens I was just getting more wide shots, like full top-down shots, getting the whole environment. Again, I was wide open at f2 and trying to keep my ISO below 1600 as best as I can. But to use the 22mm lens for portraits, you've got to get in real close. And I also love that effect as well. It was really cool. I've never really shot portraits on a wider lens, but that was really cool to get in close and just see the different effect that had in terms of like the depth of field and the depth that the lens had in comparison to the Nifty 50. And also when I was pushing the colors, changing them up, adding saturation and contrast, I was actually impressed with what colors I did have there. and what I could work with. I didn't think I'd have as much detail in the colors as I did, but I did. So again, super impressed with this camera, absolutely love it. We also did a bit more exploring, and I spotted a sort of like a water feature outside a building. So I wanted to see if I could get any reflections coming off it. So I just got Ellie to stand on the other side of the water feature, and I was just trying to shoot a full length of her above the water and on the reflection as well. I didn't know how that turned out until I saw it on the computer, and again, I was impressed. I couldn't believe what kind of detail I could get out of it, because water's always a good stress test for your photos to see what detail the camera can save, especially when you're editing in post and trying to push those colors and push the exposure. And I was, again, very, very impressed with what this camera could do. So in conclusion, like I was saying, this is not a low light test. This is a photography test in really bad conditions. So I really wanted to see what I could get out of a camera in bad conditions, or am I gonna be restricted to having perfect lighting all the time? This thing has just completely impressed me, not only on camera and what the camera can pull, but also what those files can save as well. They're not as compressed raw files as I thought they would be. They're still pretty malleable. You can still get a lot out of your images. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like seeing, I guess, the photography side. If you do want to see more photography based videos on this camera, let me know in the comments. I really did enjoy making this video. I'm still going to be releasing videos based on the video side of this camera, of course. I have a video coming out talking about how you should be exposing your camera for the most cinematic look possible, what picture profiles you should be using, and I'm also going to be making a video on the super slow-mo feature on this camera, which I'm super excited to make. So hit subscribe to see those videos, remember to leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next video.